Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to Lazer Grand Arena 2026. Week 1 of our bracket stage continues onward throughout our round of 32. Moving on to our kind of afternoon block here. It is number 12 seed sorinica17, better known as Origin, taking on number 21 seeded TrickyPugster. It's been a day marked by a whole lot of one-sided matches. I believe so far 7 matches have been a 3-0 scoreline in this set-based format. Hoping to perhaps get some more competitive score lines throughout the rest of the day, as some of our matches do get much closer in terms of the seeding between the players. So maybe we'll get some good things going, starting with this one. I'm this one guy. Joining me for this match is going to be Light In. Good morning, Light In. Welcome. What are we thinking?
I am thinking, honestly, on paper, it does seem like a potential Origin sweep yet again, especially considering that TrickyPugster just got on their setup. They were a little late to their match. But that being said, honestly, really excited. I feel like there is a possibility, there is a world where Tricky might get a set, or maybe 2 off of Origin, still Origin being a clear favorite in this matchup. If you need a quick reminder on how the overall format works, the lower seeded player will ban the map first, followed by a higher seeded player. Then it goes on to the protects, which can also work as potential bans, because only the person who protected the map can pick it. And furthermore, it also goes on into another round of bans, which leads us to the overall set mechanics. Basically, whoever gets the highest overall score for a set, which is 2 maps, will be the one taking it. So adds a lot into the strategy element here. And with that being said, it looks like we are already getting our first set of bans. Lazer mod, unfortunately, will be gone. Same with Double Time 2. No stamina and no reading involved. That depth 200 Lazer mod is such an interesting concept, but I guess we will not be seeing that today. While on the other hand, we are already getting our protects in. DT3 was the protect from the side of Tricky. And Hard Rock 2 was on the side of Origin, and final set of bans is coming up soon.
There's a lot to go through, isn't it? Yeah, a little unique format, a little unique strategy. Very interested to kind of see how it ends up playing out in this matchup. You know, I think we kind of anticipate sort of some aim type mechanics, maybe a little bit of tapping from TrickyPugster to try and combat Origin. You know, just a very well-rounded, especially late stage kind of oriented player. So we'll see. We get the final ban of the Nomad 2. So a fair amount of gimmick being removed here. The micro.wav ban, you get the Lazer mod ban, you get the tech hard rock ban. So it feels like we're going to see a somewhat straightforward match in a lot of ways throughout quite a few of these picks, though with this pool being as varied as it is, still some niche maps available. And it's going to be Origin, Sorinica, opening things up with the Hidden 2, so that is one of those somewhat more gimmicky picks. Coming out first, Stress Test, relatively lengthy flow hidden test, a whole bunch of different styles of flow streams in that one, some very cool patterning, and yeah, as mentioned, right, 2 map sets, higher total score between those maps will win. Introduces some strategy into your picks. You know, if your first pick, you get out to a big lead, you give yourself a really good opportunity to force your opponent into either picking something that, you know, either a throwaway maybe, or something that they're forced to use one of their strongest picks early on to try to come back. So some very interesting strategic decisions to be seen as we get underway.
Yep, Sorinica, Origin does seem to speed up a little bit on this map. Stress test is indeed here. Did find a miss earlier on. In general, the situation seems to be relatively equal so far for this aim control hidden 2. Map by Evil, the map is also going to be quite long, 4 minutes and 45 seconds long to be exact. A lot of aim control patterns, a few tech elements as well sprinkled on top of that, which does lead towards a few interesting outcomes for this map, but so far, so good for both of these players. Unable to find the combos for now, but the accuracy is looking a lot better on the side of Origin, 98.4%, while Tricky is still lagging behind at 95%, but it's still 20,000 score difference, and the first harder section now out of the way.
And that accuracy component, of course, very important here on Lazer scoring. It is going to play an even bigger role in your total score than it does in Score V2 Unstable, to say nothing of regular Score version 1 Unstable. So if you can maintain, a similar combo and have that accuracy lead like Origin has here, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. That accuracy can do a lot of work as we get some client shenanigans here. That was fun. Into some techie streams. Interspersed a bunch of sliders here. Both players, though, building some combo up, but sorinica has the double combo lead currently, and that's going to help build up about a 50k score gap. I don't have a great feel yet, and I feel like maybe, I don't know if anybody does, what kind of score gap can be seen as recoverable. I think it's 100k or less, but in some matchups it might be smaller than that. So, if you're keeping it within that 70k margin, you're giving yourself margin for error to make a comeback in map 2. So if this is your opponent's pick and you're TrickyPugster, you're like, okay, we're at 50k, like, we're doing well. Even if you don't win it outright, you're giving yourself a good chance.
Indeed, but so far, 50k difference, a few misses here and there, a lot of back drops too. Sorinica dropping to 95% accuracy, while Tricky also dropped to 92. Still just about doable, still half of the map left, a lot of the map to go through. This map is very lengthy, but a lot of back drops once more, exacerbating the situation even further as Origin continues to hold on to that combo. The score difference is now 70,000 and continues to grow more and more towards the left as the map continues to progress. And so far, it's not looking that good for Tricky, but Sorinica holding on through a tricky straight slider section. Still 90,000 score difference and growing, doing oh so well as we get into a less intense section now.
Yeah, a little more straightforward through some of the stream elements in this section, though it does offer a little bit of slider aim challenge too. Origin up to the task and then some in this section, though. Continue to hold on until the very end, finally breaking, while TrickyPugster struggled a bit through there and really has had difficulty building up much combo. As you said, that 90 to 100k score advantage that Origin is building, gonna serve him very well. We get into kind of the last quarter of the map. 117k lead, that score continues to go his way. The accuracy 4% lead, the combo advantage that he's held through much of it, serving Origin well. Couple breaks here at the end, though. We'll see if TrickyPugster can pull anything back. Not able to capitalize, though. Breaks himself. So not going to be able to take advantage of misses, and this might be a little out of hand for this set. 120k lead coming into the last little bit of the map.
Indeed, one final lap left for this map. The aim control is still there. Origin is still lagging behind a little bit, but nonetheless, TrickyPugster still in a huge deficit. 130,000 does seem to be, not sure whether that's comebackable or not for their own map pick, but nonetheless, sorinica17 with that recovery, 180, 200 combo actually, growing and growing as the map just settles in the last 15 seconds, and the overall score difference for this hidden 2 will end up at 140,000.
Yeah, it's a pretty sizable margin. That's a really good advantage to take into map 2 off of your first pick. That 628k score, quite strong. TrickyPugster gonna have to dig himself out of a 138k hole with his own pick in this first set. And so already we're gonna start to have the strategy coming in here, right? Do you pick something that's really good for you to try to make that gap up? Or do you say, okay, I don't think there's anything I can bring back 140k with. I'm gonna throw something, I'm gonna use a throwaway pick here so that I retain my best picks for, let's say, next set where he's going to be first pick, or set 4 where he'll be first pick. Like, there's, you know, there's kind of options here for how you want to proceed in this particular set.
Yeah, honestly, I'm more sympathetic towards the latter option. 140,000 seems like a very significant difference between the scores. And honestly, the only way you can try and come back on this is if you manage to play something that Origin is just terrible at it, and that's... I honestly, looking at the pool and looking at the maps that we have left and the overall set seed difference, this might be a very uphill battle for Tricky. So if I were him, I would probably go for more of a sacrificial scapegoat type of pick to give the first set to Origin and then start off the new set with a lot more confidence. But so far, Tricky seems to be weighing their options, whether they want to go for that sacrificial pick or whether they want to actually try and find some sort of semblance for this set.
Yeah, he did protect that DT3 remind. I don't know necessarily what the thought process may have been there. I mean, we talked before about, you know, your protects can almost function as a third ban because your opponent can't pick it. So for some people, that'll be something to take into account. I'm not actually sure which way that protect is intended here. But looks like Origin's back in from restarting his game, so hopefully we should get our pick here from TrickyPugster soon and find out how we're going to spend our next couple minutes in this first set. It is going to be Hard Rock 1. So we're going to get Mud Shovel by Stained. This is in my playlist, man. This is a banger. He says, I want to get rid of it. I have no faith in my aim. So this might be that throwaway pick. Origin, a super strong aim player as well.
Yep, also really, really good on Hard Rock, as can be suggested by that Hard Rock to protect and an HR-free ban from Tricky. So honestly makes sense. The map by itself is also a custom from Feel Like, a very well-known NAT member, one of the more active ones as well at the moment. The overall style of this map is going to be very awkward, a lot of geometric patterns, a lot of squares too, at about 212 BPM. The map is also, once again, very long, 4 minutes and 36 seconds. So, once again, we are in for quite a long ride, but you gotta respect that decision here from Tricky, going towards a sacrificial throwaway pick. And honestly, I don't blame him. Hard Rock 1 against Origin is scary.
And that said, I mean, this map is pretty difficult. It kind of aligns more to my eye with a Hidden One in terms of mapping style, where it has kind of those wide-angle geometric and even some sort of linear aim patterns. More so than, you know, a traditional Hard Rock 1 that you think of will often be a little more of a raw aim test. This is kind of bridging in between types of aim. So, you know, there's going to be, I think, a little higher variance in this type of aim compared to, like, the Hidden One in this pool, for instance, which is a little more straightforward. So there is the opportunity for players to potentially underperform, and if you hit a couple patterns that your opponent doesn't, you can give yourself a chance in it. But so far, it is Origin off to a bit of a lead. Both players, a couple early breaks. As we see there, a little reset on those wide-angle jumps. And into the chorus we go. Those like, sliders into... I don't know, there's something about that particular style of slider jump aim combination that's just very challenging.
Yeah, it's the 3-4 gaps that you have to kind of aim through because the momentum of the overall movement just slows down a little bit. But now we are getting into a more tricky section, a lot more awkward aim, a lot more symmetric, geometric patterns, as Tricky did hit through those as well. One of the harder patterns in this entire map. Sorinica just a little bit behind, and the advantage is slowly building towards the right. There is a 2% act difference though, which slows down Tricky quite significantly, but still, if he manages to hold on and Origin finds a few misses, then this might be doable. Not so doable as to come back from 140,000 score difference, but still, a trade occurs. So far, so good, but nonetheless, still 50,000 score difference as Tricky finds more and more misses.
Yeah, it's really the map is kind of showing its teeth here, right? You can tell both players struggling to maintain consistent combo, and in that situation, in a map 2 of a set, that's just, you know, vastly to the advantage of whoever won the first map. because they're just going to continue to hold on to their lead or even build it, as the case may be here. And, you know, this is feeling a little similar to the first map, where Origin just had combo lead and accuracy lead basically the entire way through, and it was what allowed him to build that 138k gap. And again, you see here 98 to 95, and through much of this pick has had the better combo. Even though neither of them has built up huge combos, it's more often than not been Origin on the larger of the two. And that's just all going to add up to a pretty comfortable margin of victory in this set. It's looking ever more like it'll be a point on the board for set one in favor of the Romanian here, which, you know, it was a good first pick, and that just sets the stage to have a big advantage in the set overall.
Yep, exactly. But still does give a little bit of that wiggle room to Tricky for that second set. Forget about the first one. Move on to the second one to try and have more chances to find those maps in. No more sacrificial throwaway picks. You gotta lock in for the next one, but so far, this map is still not over. 40 seconds left. 90,000 score difference on the side of Sorinica, growing even more, and the combo is also there. These patterns are just so brutal. The symmetry, the overall geometric aim as Sorinica continues to hold on. 300 combo and growing. But ultimately, it will not even matter because the outcome was already predetermined after that first hit in two.
Yep. It was always going to be an uphill battle to try to come back from 138k, and as was said in the lobby, TrickyPugster kind of just opting into this one to use the map up, right? If you're going to lose this map by 130k, might as well lose it by 130k on your own pick after you're already down by that margin from the first map of the set. Very understandable strategic decision here, and yes, it's Origin taking the first set, taking the 1-0 lead, but it's first pick TrickyPugster in set 2, and it gets rid of an aim pick that was vastly favored to Origin, perhaps. So now TrickyPugster maybe will have, you know, a way to climb back in. Will have a map or a couple maps in mind that he can pick more seriously that will work in his favor to maybe give him a better opportunity to maybe take a lead in this set. Nomad 3. Okay, our pedal high velocity snap alt map. I love this one.
I love this map in general. It's a custom for LGA, for this current iteration of LGA, and I feel like this is one of the... In general, pedal has become a very synonymous with the term of Nomad 3 in general about Alt 2. And this map is a prime example. It has both snap, it has both flow, also incredibly fun, all things considered. And from the mapping standpoint, from the player's standpoint, this is just a really solid map. About 2 minutes and 40 seconds long at 145 ppm. But on paper, this is not really the pick that I was expecting from TrickyPugster, but yes, we will see how that will go. The first start of the map so far, no misses on the intro, but it may as well change a slight advantage earlier in the beginning for TrickyPugster as we settle off from this intro.
And I'm going to be interested to see, again, if we continue seeing the same story that we did on the first two picks, where it was Origin up by just a lot of accuracy really all throughout. I think it indicates a certain level of comfort in a map if you know, there's that act gap while combos are relatively similar for at least the beginning. And it's going to be that first break, this time to come from Origin. So TrickyPugster getting into this first pick of the second set with a strong start. He finally does break, but he built up a little bit of an advantage, his first advantage of the match at all. However, Origin hot on his heels. Does break though, so it's kind of just a reset. It's 12k, it's more or less negligible.
More or less negligible, but still the accuracy just about equal. A slight combo advantage on the side of TrickyPugster to try and build up that score difference more and more. Every single ounce of score is very essential for this victory on the set. So he needs to hope for more misses on the side of Origin. He needs to hold on for longer as well. So far, the slower section not catching him off guard, but still the transition into a more intense PI now starts off. No misses so far, but the spacing, the slider velocity is a lot higher now. A lot more opportunities to miss, but so far both of these players holding on. But Sorinica though does find a miss. TrickyPugster still with that combo, 400 combo and counting. No misses so far. Finally drops, but still 40,000 score difference is already something that you can work with.
that's a good spot to be in for TrickyPugster here. We'll see how the last third of this map fares, though, because that score gap can flip pretty quickly if a player struggles with the patterning that continues to stay difficult throughout. But for now, it's TrickyPugster on the combo lead, on the basically even accuracy. 50k score gap is not anything to sneeze at, nothing to scoff at there. You're going to be very happy as it continues to grow here. Another big break, from Origin. Finally, the miss from TrickyPugster to come in. This is going to temper the advantage that he would have to gain into the ending by a bit, but it's still just around that 50k margin. See if he can maintain it into this ending, give himself a bit of an advantage heading into the next pick.
60,000 and growing. One final section to end it all off. 5 more seconds remaining. It looks like it will hover around 60,000. No more misses on the outro as TrickyPugster gets a pretty convenient and pretty comfortable lead on this Nomad 3, on this pedal Nomad 3 alt map. But with that being said, it's going to be Sorinika's turn to pick, and the options are vast. I would say there's just a lot of maps that Origin can choose from. Given their own protect of HR2 that they can use right now to switch that 60,000 score deficit towards their side. If anything, there is also an option of something along the lines of maybe Nomad 4, maybe like Hidden 3 as well. That Hidden 2 went really well for Origin earlier, and Hidden 3 also a bit similar skill set wise. Granted, it's going to be a lot more alt heavy, and the tech elements are a lot more difficult in comparison to that Hidden 2, but still also a pretty valid option for them. But instead, as I've said prior, they are going for HR2, their own protect hyper precision alternate.
Yeah, this is going for broke. This is trying to really put the hammer down here for Origin after losing that first map of this set by 60k, but winning both the maps in the first set by 130k plus. This is him saying, I don't care about 60k, I'm going to make that up and then some. I'm picking my protect, and I'm going to take a 2-0 set lead here. Catch me if you can, because it definitely feels like a pretty strong option for him, something he should be, in his own mind, highly advantaged on. So this is asking a very big question of TrickyPugster as to whether he can keep this map within a 60k margin, or whether Origin can make the comeback in this set happen. As you said, hyper precision. This one's CS 7.8, so very, very small circle size, and anybody who's not incredibly well versed in this skill set's going to struggle. And we already see the gap has already been made up. The gap has already been made up. This is like somebody in lane 8 who's tied with the runner in lane 1 out of the first corner.
Yep, Origin does find a miss though, but ultimately it's still 70,000 score lead, and it's growing even more. TrickyPugster does recover their accuracy a little bit, but so far you can already see the comfort level between both of these players as Origin is just on another level for this. Finds a miss yet again, but it's still growing more and more towards the left. Tricky, unable to find the combo. It's already 100,000. This hyper precision alt map is just not sparing him at all. Unable to aim, unable to find his footing on this HR2 while Sorinika is in his prime for this map.
And it's wild because, you know, it isn't Origin having such an incredible score in the sense of FCing or anything like that, but he's missing less and he's keeping his combo up like where he can, while keeping the accuracy up by 5% as well. And that just builds and builds and builds so quickly. That 5% accuracy lead, as we talked about, accuracy so important in this scoring system, and he is showing off how that works. It is going to be a gigantic win. It looks like here, 20 seconds to go, barring a complete collapse from Origin. He made up that lead within the first 10 seconds and never looked back. And this is going to end up being a set differential of about 140k once it's all said and done. This is why he protected this map. This is why he picked this in this situation. Corsair slider upside down. And this is Origin 2-0 lead. Just nothing, unfortunately, that TrickyPugster could do at any stage of that pick.
Yep, honestly, really tragic. They did take that Nomad 3 with a pretty confident 60,000 score lead, but Origin just basically slaps it in his face, says, I'm gonna take this HR2, and you're not gonna take the set. I'm hungry for points, I'm gonna take all of them. And that's exactly what he did on this HR2, getting that 70,000 score difference immediately, as you've said, within the first 10 seconds, and to just add some extra points on that HR2. Such a good showing from Origin. A good, well-scouted pick as well. The strategy did work out very well, and it looks like we're gonna be going into this Nomad 4 now. Fancy Face, another custom map, this time around from Oat Milk. Very slider control heavy, a lot of very interesting slider shapes as well. Oat Milk, famous for that. Usually more well-known for more flowy type of tech, something like Black Class, but Fancy Face is also a banger map.
Yeah, this map is super sick. Also, another pretty short one worth noting. A couple of very short map picks in a row here from Origin. So, you know, kind of opting away from that consistency that we saw in the first set, where we had the two longest maps or two of the three longest maps in the pool back to back. Instead, we're, you know, now going into a couple of the shortest maps in the pool back to back. So, like, we're not dealing with consistency here. We're just dealing with raw slider control requirement. And again, it's asking a question of TrickyPugster, like, can you keep this close enough that whatever you pick will be enough for you to take a set? Or is it just going to be another gigantic margin of victory for Origin here? You know, 200k on that last map. If you can do something like that again, the match is going to be over before we even get to TrickyPugster's possible last pick here. And already you can see it starting, right? Origin combo lead, accuracy lead, score lead of almost 60k, and we're really just getting into the meat of the map.
Yep, it's just the start. It's already just about a quarter gone, but Sorinica Origin continues to hold on to the accuracy. Finally drops the combo though, but still 99% accuracy in comparison to TrickyPugster's 95. 4% acc lead is huge for Origin here, but still combo breaks from Tricky, not helping the situation at all as Origin continues to hold on to that combo. This is a do or die situation for Tricky as well, because this is single elimination, and with that 80,000 score difference, they have to, first of all, try and shrink that deficit, and also perform really well on their own map pick, and this is looking so really dark here for Tricky. That being said, it's still going more and more towards the left. A lot of misses still on the right side as the Romanian just continues to run away with this score, with this Nomad 4. No mercy being shown, 120,000 and growing as the map. There's only just about 20 seconds left, but the outcome, once again, was predetermined in the first 10 seconds, once again.
You could just instantly tell. So easily were you able to discern the comfort levels of these players on this map. The accuracy just tells the story, 98 to 92, and the score follows. 190k gap, 716k, a very solid score there from Origin, 4 misses, and a near 200,000 score lead. Like, that's just not comebackable. To use my favorite made-up word, it just does not feel comebackable. 190k, you know, in a match where you've won one map and it was by 60,000, whereas the other 3 have been, or another 4 now, you know, have been 130k, 130k, 200k. The room for error is just not present. And Client playing Burn This Right for us. The difficulty relentless kind of says something about Origin's performance in this match. He has just not let up at all. TrickyPugster has been choked out of this one, map and map after map. It is going to be that protect, though. Last gasp effort here for TrickyPugster to try and put a point on the board. It's remind DT 1.4x, not quite the 1.5 true DT multiplier, but very close. He's got to win this by 200,000 points to put a point on the board to win a set. And this was his protect, so hopefully it was his protect for a very good reason. Maybe this is the chance.
Hopefully. Seems like mission impossible, but if you gotta perform on something, it's better gonna be your own protect. Chara Remind, a map that was mapped back in 2011, ranked in 2012, a very old one, all things considered. And the overall out requirement, they did win that Nomad 3 with a pretty significant margin of 60k, so maybe this DT3 is also going to be reminiscent of that, but I guess we will figure this out as the map starts off. Already a slight ACK advantage on the side of TrickyPugster, but still Origin just about can play this so well anyway. Builds up the accuracy, builds up the combo, and we are already at the first PI.
And Origin just has so much wiggle room in this as well, right? when you consider that, you know, you're probably able to keep decent accuracy on it, your floor on this is what, like 400k maybe? So unless your opponent is going to put up a 900k score, you don't have to do a whole lot to keep a 200,000 score gap alive. That's the advantage of picking first in the set and putting up a really solid score. That being said, Origin is struggling a bit so far in this one. TrickyPugster holding on to the combo, holding on to the high accuracy, out to about a 40,000 score lead so far. We're only a minute through. This is 4 minutes long, a pretty long one. So you can see the opportunity, but that's a big chain miss. It's a reset, but a worse miss for TrickyPugster, and that's the sort of thing he just cannot afford. Trying to make this comeback happen in this set and in this match, you can't have misses. You just have to play near perfect Osu the rest of the way through, and it doesn't look as though that might be happening. It looks like Origin might be able to keep this close enough that that 190k lead will be more than adequate to keep him alive in this set, to give him that last point that he needs.
He is still 2/3 of the map, though. This is just about anyone's game, Tricky. This is still, as you've said, comebackable in this case, but Sorinica does continue to hold on to the combo, builds it up, finds a miss, though. That's the opportunity for Tricky to use, the opening. The window of opportunity is open here for Tricky, but you need to hold on. As you've said, you need to play near perfect Osu. The break is there. The players see their scores. Tricky understands the reality of their situation. They need to hold. No more mistakes. You cannot be forgiven for any of these mistakes. You just have to play, otherwise your tournament life is on the line. Finds a miss, though, and I feel like this miss might have sealed the deal on this DTP and this matchup in general.
It's a shame, because you look and you see that it's a 50k score lead for TrickyPugster. You can see that he is able to play this, you know, relatively competently. He is having a good run here. The problem is he came into this map at such a deficit because of map 1 in this set that the task in front of him was asking so much. It was going to always be such a tall order to make a 200,000 score lead, score victory happen. And, you know, the door is still there. That lead is continuing to grow, and Origin is continuing to have some trouble. There is a world where this gets a little bit interesting. You know, to steal a phrase, this could get weird in the last few moments of this map. This could get weird. Tricky could make this weird because he's got a 300+ combo lead. He's got the accuracy close, and it's a 70,000 score lead. If we see another break here from Origin, this gets a little interesting. Unfortunately, I have to think that TrickyPugster is probably just going to run out of time no matter what.
Yep, only about 40 seconds left. The time is ticking. And with that, TrickyPugster's life might also be taking away as we speak. One final section, but ultimately, I don't think it will even matter. 80,000 score difference is a valiant attempt. One last PI to settle it all. But ultimately, Tricky will be the one to fall on this DTP. 15 seconds left, 100,000 score difference, but still, the task ahead was impossible from the very beginning. Valiant combo, really nice combo towards that ending, but ultimately, Origin will be the one to take away this victory with a clean sweep of 3-0 when it comes to the sets and advance further, while TrickyPugster will be eliminated from Lazer Grand Arena.
It's GG well played, man. You gotta give credit for TrickyPugster for fighting until the bitter end. 100k plus victory for him on the on that last pick there is gonna be small consolation to take away from this match. Unfortunately, Origin, just the stronger performer overall, was able to take the bigger wins where he needed them to build up the advantages. I mean, they split picks right in the second and third sets, but Origin just won his picks by more. And that's what it comes down to when you have this cumulative score format. So it's going to be sorinica17 headed onward into the round of 16. He'll be playing tomorrow, 19 UTC. He'll await the winner of Alfeu versus Ryu Yamada. That is a match that is yet to come this afternoon. That'll be in a couple hours. And I think, you know, as we move through this tournament, with it being round 32 single elim into round of 16, like, it's just good players. It's good match after good match. And I mentioned this at the very beginning, but today was a little bit backloaded in terms of the matchups seeding wise. We have 12 versus 21, 13 versus 20. Later on at the end of the day is our 16 versus 17 matchup, that Wandario versus Flames tier. So we're going to get, I think, some potentially pretty good matches. It's a little unfortunate to see all the 3-0s on the screen, but when you consider things like the match we just saw where they're splitting maps, it's a little closer than it might look on paper. And so I hope we continue to see some competitive affairs because that's what makes this so fun.
Yep, gotta have to agree, but do not go away just yet. There's still a match in 22 minutes. Xylus versus Bashiman, seed number 13 versus seed number 20. That one is gonna be a valiant battle once more, so we'll hope to see you there. But with that, I was Leiden, and today joined with me was T1G, and we will be saying our goodbyes. Good luck to Origin in their round of 16 match, and we'll see you next time.